Some cats, they know how to fight.
Hey everybody, it's Bluegrass. I wanted to share the fact I got to finally go to a movie because it's my birthday this week and I always try to treat myself to something special. So myself and my 13-year-old went to the movie theater over on Newport on the Levee near where I live, and we went to see Mad Max Fury Road. Admittedly, I've been reading some of the reviews, people screaming about, oh yeah, female power and positive female role models in it, you know, empowerment kind of thing. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect when I sat down. To be honest, from the beginning and to the end, the gamer girl in me was just like, yee, I hope they make this a video game. Everything in it, from the car, I can't call them cars, like the road warrior machines, I guess would be the best way to describe these. These road warrior vehicles were badass. They were well thought out. Their battle tactics were just fantastic. I know my son was quite impressed with the pole riders, I think is what they call them, or I'm not sure exactly what they call them, but yeah, they came up with so many unique ways of owning the action scenes. I was not for 1 minute bored. My brain was going in 20 different directions. Like, oh, imagine if this was on Borderlands 2. Oh man, this would be such a great thing if this was in, you know, Resident Evil. I kept going between, I would say, Borderlands 2, Rage, and in Resident Evil, because it's just the way the intensity of the movie was, the way they thought out the props, the action scenes, and that kind of thing. I will say, I personally was not overly impressed with Furiosa. Not completely impressed with Max. I mean, I'm really glad they completely revamped and re-owned the story. I mean, this was so original, it was enjoyable. But at the same time, there were points in the movie I thought, man, this is so grim. It's so grim. It's constantly grim, grim, grim. And I kept thinking, I hope I don't get bored. Because not one time do you really see Furiosa, what is that? Theron's character, I forget, Charlize, I think is her first name. You don't really ever see her crack a smile. Not even when she gets to the green place and all of that. And I kind of like Max's character because you kind of want to chuckle along with his frustration. I know a couple people in the audience were kind of confused by the flashbacks of the kids, you know, asking for help and all of that, which I think was from Beyond Thunderdome, as I recall. It's been a minute since I watched them all, but I'm pretty sure that was kind of the reference there. But overall, I think it was a good movie. Yes, it was empowering, you know, to a female lead role. To be honest, I would have to give Resident Evil's characters more credit for being powerful female leads. I mean, the problem I have with Furiosa was her desire. I didn't connect with her as well as I thought they could have with her struggle in that. I mean, you know, she was looking for redemption, which meant the fact that she was working for the big hog in the sky like she was, you know, she probably helped capture a lot of the women that ended up being in this guy's breeder pool, you know, that kind of thing. And maybe she suffered guilt from that because she contributed to that. I get that. But overall, I just didn't feel the passion from the character that her storyline said she had. So I felt Max's character, I think they fleshed him out a little bit better, but I think they had an advantage in the theaters with Max's character because most folks are familiar with Mad Max. At least if you're at least like, this is horrible. I want to say if you're at least like 35 years or older, you probably know who Mad Max is, and Mel Gibson pretty much epitomized that role. That was his role for the longest time. It seemed like people always remember him for Mad Max. Um, like I said, I kind of liked Max's character. I mean, he was a just no bones kind of guy. Let's just get this shit done. You know, he functioned on that level. Another interesting aspect, though, was how they dealt with religious belief in this case, because the Citadel is very much a, I don't want to call it, I don't want to call it a dictatorship. It's almost tyrannical on a lot of levels. It's almost like North Korea. Yeah, it's a lot like North Korea, except Kim Jong-un isn't as much of a badass as his leader was for his country. And I think that you can see the brainwashing involved. And they kind of had hints of that in the previous Mad Max movies, though not, as crazy. But in this one, they really show just the absolute euphoria that the cult members would have when they're about to die. And it was funny because, they worked in Valhalla, in the Great Highway in the Sky kind of thing, which is, I really, really like that. But they also, the movie couldn't focus on it for a long period, obviously. They had to shorten all of these events into what felt like only 3 days, but really it was probably more like a week or two almost, what was taking place in the movie. But one of the characters from the Citadel, who was like a cultist basically, he ended up with Max's group. And you watch this guy start to realize what a load of shit he was handling. How much of his hopes and dreams were just, they were fantasy, they were lies. It was really, really interesting to see them do this. Granted, most cult members couldn't let go in a 24-hour period, but for the purpose of the movie, I know that's what they had to do. But they showed a lot of the stages. There was, the fantasy, the hope, the grief, when the guy realized he didn't stand a chance in hell of really accomplishing anything, and get his supreme leader's attention in a good way. Anger, knowing he had been used. You see it all. It was really, really cool how they showed this entire cycle of belief and leaving belief. And it was refreshing. It really was. I was really, really impressed. And I got to give him props for that. So, yes, Mad Max, definitely a great movie to go see, especially if you're a game freak and you like those post-apocalyptic type game worlds like I do. If you like things, Resident Evil, Borderlands, Rage, even Prototype 2 could probably kind of fit in there a little bit. This movie has all of the wonderful effects and I mean even the textures and that of everything they did. You really, really enjoyed it. And I gotta admit, we did go see it in 3D. I'm like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it in 3D. And I'm glad we did, because they really did do a lot with the scenery, the sounds that you hear. You can almost feel the wind in your brain. You can almost feel that desert air. It's cool how they really put a lot into the aesthetics of the film. So I highly recommend spending the money to go see this film in the theater. You can wait till it comes out, but if you have a way to see it in the theater, you really, really should. It's kind of like my parents had always said, you've got to see Star Wars in the theater at some point. It's just not the same as on the TV. And I gotta say, Mad Max is one of the films you really need to see on a huge, humongous screen, okay? Because the TV just won't do it justice. So anyway, if you have a chance, got nothing else to do this weekend, go see Mad Max. Whether you want to see a grim storyline that's about, trying to survive, move forward, have a happy ending or not, I don't want to spoil anything here, so I'm not talking about the story too much. Or if you just really like post-apocalyptic style, movies and that, and you'll love this period. They really cover everything you can think of. And like I said, the action scenes are just like, wow. Because I know some movies, the action's so intense, you can't keep up. Mad Max is not like that. You will be able to keep up and process what you're seeing and actually comprehend it, and you're just like, wow. The writers and the stunt coordinators, they did an excellent job. So go out and see it. Great to see. It's worth 2.5 hours of your life.
Come on here, sweetie. Everything I say, like Socrates, most people love to